Hello everyone and welcome to the new Quad Radio / video. I'm Rodney Tomlin and today my guest T Brown 84 Thomas Brown. Welcome to Quad Radio, man. Back to Quad Radio, a rather I guess consistent visitor over the course of my getting things going, get it re-going, and then the new version, and then the new version, and now the new version again. We're back at it. And as we kick off the 2017 Wiseco ATV Motocross National Championship presented by CST Tires, we are heading into round 3 for the AMA Pro ATV division. We are a pre-round 3 here in Alabama. Good Friday, if you will, as we record this particular spot. Now, I know probably before this hits the air, we're going to have round 3 in the history books, Thomas, but as we open up the first 2 rounds of racing so far, I just want to say congratulations on finding that groove, man. Thomas got his groove back. I'm going to start calling you Stella, I think, man, because we're starting to see the remnants of what Thomas Brown and the great racer that we knew was come back to life, man. I think it's great.
Yeah, you know, last year was a rough year for us, so it was tough. Getting hurt was the first time I've been hurt in my whole career and missed races, so that was a big turning point, a big obstacle to overcome. You know, that's last year when I finally had to sit out and miss Unadilla after racing 2 rounds injured and injuring myself here of all places in Alabama. So I had 3 bad races, and then I decided finally I needed to take a break and get healed because what I was doing out there wasn't no good. And first race, first gate drop I missed in 7 years since I turned pro, and then goes longer than that in my Pro-Am career where I never missed a gate. So it was something new for me, you know, and it's I've been very, very fortunate and very lucky, and I've had a few small injuries, but they were always during the off season, and then last year it bit me, and the wrist took longer to heal. We ended up missing 3 rounds, and we caught the last round soaring eagle, which was great. But yeah, last year was not going as planned. Even the motos before, like I'd have an awesome first moto and then a shitty second moto and then an okay first moto and then a second moto that was good, and I couldn't put the podium spots together that you needed to have. And I'm feeling consistent right now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very confident on the bike, which is awesome. So yeah. That's everything's clicking really good, and the program that we've put together for myself with a whole bunch of people is making me easier for me to have that confidence and work forward from here.
And that's something, you know, I mean, as great as things look from the outside, man, you were scrambling the last couple of years, Thomas. I mean, just trying to keep your program and everything together financially so you could come out here to the races, and what that did to you. I mean, you were doing great. You had a great program and everything. You had a good team going. You had a lot of members around, but what you also created was a lot more headache for yourself, man. You had a lot more responsibilities. So race days all of a sudden became, I don't want to say it like, you know, like this, but it became kind of secondary to you almost because you had so many other irons in the fire.
Oh, for sure. You know, it's, yeah, race day came around, and race day I would focus on me, and I had put people in place for, on Saturday, they take care of Saturday. And I didn't have to worry about the team on Saturday per se. A little bit in the morning, but that was it. The biggest problem is I'd never thought about was the fact that leading up to race day, I was worn out. You know, I showed up Thursday. I set up the tent Thursday night. Friday morning, I got everything put away in the pits, got all my rider situation. I watched all my riders ride Friday, in midst of watching the track myself, made sure all their bikes were good. You know, I mean, I wasn't personally having to work on them, but man, it was just a little bit of time, a little time here and time here. And Friday night comes out, and I'm like, fuck, I'm exhausted. So now we had to go rest, and so we go to bed, wake up. Saturday morning, I had to push everybody's team's bikes out so we can get to my bike. And then everybody started doing their thing, and I could worry about racing. But by that point, I was kind of worn out coming into Saturday morning, so it was a huge help, and there's people around me that were noticing this, and noticing the amount of stress. I mean, and then at home, it was even more with getting stuff ready, getting the rig ready and everything. I mean, it was, you know, everybody says they work hard, but it was a different kind of work. It's like, I would love to have been working out the whole time, but I was having to worry about how to maximize my days. I was waking up at 6 a.m. and I wasn't going back inside until after dark. Brandy would have dinner ready for me, which was great, and I'd go to bed. And that was a daily deal. I wake up 6 a.m., work all day, go to bed. And it took a huge toll on me, and I don't regret it. You know, it was, and like you said, it was a means to keep racing at the time. And we looked at stuff, and I'm like, man, we just can't keep going like this and wanting to shoot for a championship when everybody else gets to show up and race, and I had to do all this other stuff before the race, at the race, and we really looked at things, and I talked to a few people. Rich Dillette stepped up huge for me. Lane Barnes Pro Motorsports, and then CST. You know, these title sponsors are title sponsors for a reason, and that's not discrediting anybody else behind the scenes, but those guys stepped up to make me be able to come in here and worry about racing, and that's been huge. And I feel my results are showing it, and I want to keep showing it throughout this year, and being able to come in here and be relaxed on Friday, not have to worry about stuff. You know, I'm going to be able to go do my thing, worry about my stuff. When I looked at the track, then came back, I can sit down, and then tomorrow morning, you know, I show up. You know, I like to be a part of everything. I'm not going to just say, oh, here's my bike, go do it. But I mean, ultimately I could. And I try to be a little bit involved, but Brian Johnson also stepped up huge for me this year. He's prepping bikes before and after races, so I don't have to take them home. And yeah, I mean, they take care of a lot, and I like to kind of oversee it. But yeah, I'm like, all right, they ask me a suggestion, what we want to do, and then they do it. I don't have to worry about the little stuff. So that's huge.
It is huge, and probably one prime example of it being big and this really helping you out is you had trouble on the way down here, and you normally stay at the racetrack, but you had problems, but you overcame that, got down here, got your hotel room, and you don't have to sweat it until Sunday or Monday, I guess, huh?
Yeah, no, it's really simple. You know, this week we were working towards coming here, and we have a fifth wheel, my old man's fifth wheel, and I've been renting it from him until I get my rig. I finally sold my semi with a stacker trailer, which was a huge burden relief off me. I mean, that's a huge bill, $2,000 a month. I mean, that's more than most people's house payment. So that was huge to get off my back, and so I could even financially start affording this more. And that was Lane stepping up with his Pro Motorsports rig. You know, that allowed me to do that. So I've been borrowing his fifth wheel and renting it from him, and we go to hook onto it yesterday evening, and Thursday to leave for the race, and the fifth wheel's breaking up, and it's about to break out, and it's not an old hippie fifth wheel. It's only 3 years old, but man, yeah. So we dropped it. We grabbed the 16-foot enclosed. We threw the new race bike in it. Normally Lane has my race bikes already, but we're breaking out a new bike for this weekend, so I had it at home so I could ride it a little bit, and loaded up and rolled out here. We got a hotel last night, and we got hotels for tonight. And it'll be my first time ever staying in a hotel at a race.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we've always had a motorhome, and that's it's crazy. So I'm ready to see if I enjoy it or not.
You know,
because it might be better.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be something that you like. It gets you away from the racetrack and gets your mind out of this. I mean, some people, you know, like to stay focused and be just a part of it, where you might work out better for you not to be so intent on it the night before and be able to relax, have some orange juice at the hotel, and get out here bright and early and get ready to go. I think it'll be pretty neat to see what this approach will be for you.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm excited for it. And it's like it turned a negative into a positive. You know, we had to rush a little bit yesterday, but today we showed up and the team jumped together. Even with a new bike, like I'm sure a lot of the listeners out there have had new bikes, and you just don't roll them out and they're perfect right off the bat. Like,
right.
I actually hate new bikes. Like, I love having a new bike to race, but to break in process on a new bike, man, it sucks. Like, and that sounds so crappy, because when I was young, I was like, man, I would love to have a new bike all the time. And nowadays, I'm like, oh, do we really have to break a new one in? Because there's always the little stuff. You got the handlebar position doesn't quite feel right, this and that. But like today, the team jumped in and we got all the nicks worked out. And I had a few lists of stuff to come here with and we need to work on. And man, everybody jumped up and we got done. And we're sitting here and the sun's not even down. And man, I'm ready to head to dinner. And after this interview, we're gonna be able to go back to relaxing. And last year I wouldn't be able to even do this interview with you.
That's awesome. I'm happy for you that you've been able to reach this point in your career, and this season it's going to be more instrumental, because I mean, here you are, you're maturing, you've been in the pro class for a while, you're becoming a seasoned veteran, so to speak, and you know what it takes, and you know the speeds that have to be ran, and you've already stepped it up. I mean, already this year, I mean, and the consistency. I know there's only been 2 rounds, dude, but I mean, I see it in you. I mean, there's a different time. Do you feel different this year? Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel really different. I feel relaxed on the bike, which is huge. I keep saying huge, but I mean, there's a lot of instrumental stuff, and like I said, a lot of people came together and pushed me towards this year, is getting rid of the team and stuff and allowing me to work myself. But yeah, I feel different on the bike. When I'm at home riding, if I don't ride one day, I'm okay with it. It's like, oh, I don't have to pound out my moto every day. Like, I focus on what I need to focus on. Some days I take off. I have no problem working hard, working out and stuff like that. And honestly, this year I'm probably doing a little bit less and worrying a little bit more about rest. And it's huge. But I mean, but I'm working hard on the other weeks. Right. No.
So I've worked hard to get here, and that's big. And I'm, like I said, I'm I'm really happy with it, but I feel really good on the bike. On the track, there's some stuff I need to work on. I need to work on my sprint speed at the beginning of a moto, but my strength's there at the end. And I'm feeling good. Like, I'm lining up and wanting to battle for this. And, you know, honestly, Daytona I was pretty happy with a technical race coming from the back. You know, third place I was really happy. And then Texas, surprised a lot of people is being a home race. I'm horrible there. Is a light tournaments. I've had good motos and bad motos, but I always seem to have horrible luck. And we're working towards doing better there. And for me to lead with a podium, especially a 2-3, and Joel kind of gave the 2 to me the first moto, you know, and Chad was gone, and I battled with Jeffrey at the end of the moto, and we had a good battle. So, but I feel me getting stronger from here on out, and that's really good because, like I said, I've never been on the podium in Texas, and it's always been just, yeah, I'm quick there, and I could have lucked into a podium a little bit, but I've never been like stamp it like I'm fast enough to get a podium, and just something bad happened. I kind of had to have a little luck,
right?
And the luck never panned out there, and that's fine. But I know there's some tracks coming up that I've done good at. I've won motos and stuff, and I'm feeling more confident and more ready now than I have ever before. So I'm looking forward to getting to those places.
But somebody tells me that you actually have been an issue around to ride with, man, that you've been hurting everybody around you. What's going on there with that,
dude?
Man?
Wow, yeah. Today, man, it's actually been rough. It started off this winter, and it's crazy because I haven't thought about it. It's been a little bit of that, but this winter I was riding with Chad, and he had to get off. Didn't get hurt, luckily. And then even on a road bike, which anybody that follows Chad's Instagram saw that somebody had hit him on a car. I was directly behind him. I was actually filming, but I dropped the phone so I didn't hit the car too. And so, all right, so you know, Chad wrecks, and then he gets hit by a car, and I'm like, man, this is gnarly. He's like, you can't ride with me anymore. Obviously, he let me come back and moto at his place, and thanks to him. And then I went to my place and been training there, and actually the 2 riders I had last year on my team both wanted to come back and wanted to train with me in Texas. And I'm like, yeah, come on, you know, I can still do this for you. You can stay there. They both have running their own programs. Dylan Rouse from Canada, he's there and he's looking good, man. Like, I was really pumped for him, and this really bums me out. He wrecked this week and broke his ankle.
Ooh.
So now he's going to be out for 2 weeks, or for 2 rounds. He's hoping to make a round back, and I really hope he makes High Point, but I'm thinking it's going to be 2 more rounds before he's back. But so he's need to get his ankle healed. And then I show up today, and Sam, the rider from Uruguay, he has torn some ligaments in his shoulder and is probably going to have surgery. So I guess he's coming back to Texas, and we're going to go see if we can see a specialist Monday or Tuesday. And man, yeah, it's not good, and it's.
I'm not gonna lay that blame on you, man. I'm not. Somebody was telling me that, but I'm not laying that blame on you. But wow.
I appreciate that, because man, it's like I haven't looked at it like that, but yeah, man, it's been rough, and man, it sucks. I hate seeing people get injured, because like I said, I've been very fortunate in my career, but last year I felt the pain, and and sometimes you got to take a break, and that's the hardest choice, because to try to ride through it, or sometimes not, when you break an arm, like, yeah, you got to take a break. I broke a wrist, and yeah, I should have taken a break, but sometimes you can wrap this stuff up and try to muscle through it, and man, it's hard to make that decision to pull the plug and take a few rounds off. But honestly, last year, and hopefully anybody watching this and listening to this will know, is that if you can't ride your full potential, sometimes, unless you're in that championship and there's only a couple rounds to go, take the time off, get healed up, and come back and try to win races rather than go out there for 5th. Because last year, I mean, I had good speed last year. I had shines of brilliance, I would say. And I could go back and look at it, and I would get, at Muddy Creek, I had a great moto. And then the next moto I wrecked. And it was ups and downs. And then when I kept trying to race through it, I mean, I was battling back further than I am, outside the top 5. And I mean, there's hardly ever a moto I finished outside the top 5, and I was trying just to get in there.
Right. And
it would have been better for me to just take 2 rounds off, come back for the last 3, instead of do 2 rounds and come back for the last 1.
Right.
So, that's a maturity thing. And you were talking about the veteran of the class, and I tell you what, I don't know if it's just me feeling young, and I've always been like the younger guy in the class, younger one of all my friends. I'm 3rd or 4th oldest in the class now.
Wow.
And I do not feel that old. And maybe it's just me feeling young, and maybe everyone's like, yeah, well, obviously you've been around forever. I mean, this will be my 7th or 8th year, so it'll be my 8th year as a pro. And but yeah, I mean, it's Chad and Upperman are older than me. And then I'm not sure who else, and Joe shows up, which I've heard he's coming back, then he'll be, Yeah. But as far as the guys lining up, I'm definitely in the upper half, and it's crazy, because like I said, I've always been the youngest in my class coming through the ranks. I've always been the youngest one of my friends, last one to turn 16, last one to turn 21. you know. So it's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's like, I guess I quote unquote is seasoned veteran. And
so how old are you exactly?
27.
27.
27.
Well, dude, if you look at the big picture, now's the time when most champions, great champions, really start winning championships and start winning races. So you're right on track, if truth be told, man.
Yeah. No, it's I would agree. Is I've heard, in the male body, and the male hits its peak, 26 to 32 or something like that. So I'm right in the prime of the peak. And like I said, I feel healthy. I feel great. But yeah, it's a lot of people get smarter. The only sport I think that people are younger is dirt bike racing.
And that's changing. I mean, if you look at the grand scheme of things nowadays, that's totally changing too. I mean, when I first got into the sport, Thomas, if you were 21 years old and a professional racer, you were a veteran. You were getting old. People were starting to look in other directions for somebody else. They didn't want somebody 22 or 23 years old. They thought, that guy's washed up. He's been hurt, blah, 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 whatever. They were going after the 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, getting the best out of them for 3 or 4 years and then moving on to somebody else. But now it seems like, I think with the advancements of training and nutrition and things like that, I think that technology has allowed us, and bikes, obviously, because you can handle things, suspensions and different things, and motors are so much better nowadays. I think it set us up for what we have going on right now, that, the more mature racer eventually is going to be the stronger racer.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think the big difference between the dirt bike and the quad world and the age is that I can't retire at 25, 26.
Right.
Even if I had the season I had on a bike and the podium finishes and the top threes, I'd be really close to being able to retire with a really healthy lifestyle ahead of me. Well, on a quad, you can't do that. And I think that's the biggest difference, is that they have the option. But I think with the same thing is the stress for the money that they're making to retire that early is probably what wears on the guys like Dungey and Villapoto, is they're so stressed by the time they get to this age that, it's so many people relying on more. Man, like a lot of us here are just having fun and enjoying racing. I can honestly say that. No, I'm not going to tell you every day I wake up and I'm like, man, I want to go ride my quad today. And I hate saying that because I do truly enjoy riding my quad. But some days, man, I'm like, you know what?
I don't want to ride my quad.
I don't want to ride. I rode 4 days this week. I busted my butt. I'm working out hard.
Come on, Brandy, let's go hit the pool.
Yeah, like let's go do something fun, and we get to that, So, like I said, it's a different world, but like I said, I still truly enjoy the sport. I love racing. I get excited for the races. I get excited to watch racing. And speaking of that, so I'm going to ask you a question here.
Okay.
And from what I've heard, how awesome was Underground last weekend, or 2 weekends ago?
It was good. It really was. And the thing about it is, and I thought a lot about this, and I heard a lot of people say, that's the best ATV race I've ever seen.
Now, I will agree that's probably a little far-fetched, because I've seen some epic battles.
Exactly. And I have to say, but what what had people the most excited, and probably what excites me the most about watching that race is that not only did you have the race up front for the lead, but you had the race back here for the final podium spots. You had the battle for 5th and 6th place. And they were all good, tight, consistent battles. I mean, it was good racing all the way around. I mean, you could watch this battle, you could fall back, you could watch this battle, you could fall. And everywhere you looked on the racetrack, it was as intense a battle in that position as it was for the position ahead of it. And everyone brought their A game. And every battle was exciting. It was hard to decide which one to watch. It really was.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's where I've been hearing that, and like I said, I don't believe it was the best race ever.
No.
Because, even me and Jeffrey, like, oh, you and Jeffrey had a great battle. We had a good battle for the final few laps, but there for the majority of the race, we were marking each other, which is exciting because we were within striking distance for 90% of the race. I was there, but he was running a good pace. And then from what I've seen on Chad and Joel is, they were there, but they weren't in striking distance. And then we had some great battles. But I tell you what is, it's cool to see, and like you said, everybody's bringing their A game, and that's the part I'm liking seeing, is that there's a lot of people out here and a lot of people going fast. And yes, Chad and Joel are the premier riders in our sport right now, and I would love to say that I'm part of that, but I'm a little bit off them. I'm not the premier select two. They kind of pull a gap, but I'm gonna tell you what, that gap's closing in.
Yep.
And I looked ahead of Jeffrey until about the halfway point. We were all on all four of us on the same straightaway, you know, and that's cool because if they would have battled a little harder, a little earlier, me and Jeffrey would have been there. Or if maybe I didn't start pressuring Jeffrey, maybe we wouldn't have fallen back so far, you know, because obviously Jeffrey tried to start protecting his lines whenever I started showing wheels, and rightfully so, you know. So it's cool. I think it's going to show what hopefully the series has more to offer this year, and you know, every year we want better racing, and man, I just hope to be a part of that, and I'm really excited for the season this year, and I think we got some great events coming up.
I think you're absolutely right, and you know, I've said it, and it's not just hype. Whenever I say this, I know people say, oh, he's just talking, you know, that's part of his job. But I honestly, truly, in my heart of hearts, believe that we are on the cusp right now of the best all-around season of championship racing from top to bottom, the 50s to pros, than we've ever seen. I mean, we've been building up to this, and I think that Texas, well, Daytona, we just got a small preview of who was going to be racing. And same thing in Texas, we just got, I think, a small preview of the core people that are going to be going after that championship. I think this weekend and the upcoming races are going to prove to be exactly what I'm saying. They already have, but I think they're only going to get better.
Yeah, I would agree, and I got to watch, actually I didn't get to watch any, so that was a lie. I heard about a lot of racing. I'm very involved with a few amateur riders. They're friends of mine, you know, I've seen them come through the ranks, and there's championship battles, and there's guys that are putting a lot of effort in all these classes, not just pro, not just pro-am. You know, I mean, there's the 250 rider, Troy Hill, moved up this year, along with Peyton Zimmerman.
Yep.
Both are already going to the A class. You know, they're throwing wrench in there, and I rode with Troy this winter, and for a 16-year-old kid, the kid's riding great. I seen Peyton riding, he's riding good. You know, and I'm not trying to leave anybody out, and you look at the B class is who's in it. I know Brogan's in it.
Yeah, Brogan,
and he's like going great right now.
Yeah.
There's a kid I'm working with, Ty Hudson, out of Oklahoma.
He's going to be a big surprise. Yeah, I think.
We go to the A class. You got Troy, I think Noah. Sky
Volkemer's in there.
Volkemer, and like I said, I'm not going to leave anybody out. But man, there's every class I look at, there's like 5 people that are working hard, and then there's people that are surprising people. I mean, like Brogan Geyer last year was a good rider, but he wasn't. I mean, he's perfect right now.
Right.
And now I don't want to jinx him, and if they watch this, they're going to be like, oh, he jinxed us if he doesn't do good this weekend. But he's doing great, and that confidence is going to ride on whether he does awesome this weekend or not. He's going to be, you know.
And he's going to inspire other riders to do better too, because you know, they're going to say, well, I was beating him last year, so they're going to push a little harder, and it's going to tighten things up. But one thing I do have to note about Brogan has, even through the youth ranks, I think been a formidable opponent. I think the last year or two he spent a lot of time injured, and that's why we probably haven't seen the true potential. But I think what surprises me, not that I don't think that he was capable of doing it, but after especially after the injuries and stuff that he's had to work his way through, to be able to come out and just be focused and just tearing it up like that's impressive, I think. That's Thomas Brown. I'm Rodney Tomlin. This is Quad Radio /video. Yeah.